Still looking at me.
Yo, what's happening, guys? How are you doing today? Good evening, and welcome back to another reaction video. It's your boy, the multitasker, Mighty Avenger, at your service. Forgive me if I look a little bit of a mess here, because it has been a very slow day. Nothing but cloudy and raining all day. Typical Mondays, that's just how it is. It's anyone's beyond control, even for me. So all I did was just rest and rest. That's been pretty much how it is. But now that Monday Night Raw has just started, so I'm a little motivated. And that new episode of DeathBattle just uploaded hours ago. It's Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna. It's, once again, it's Marvel versus DC. Both of the beautiful and yet that wields of magic and sorcery. All that leads to the one question is, who is the superior that's going to walk out of this match alive? So, one way to find out. And let's go ahead and take a look at this episode. And if you are new to this channel, be sure to click that tiny little bell and you get notification from yours truly, your friendly neighborhood reacting man for reaction, gaming, music, streaming, and anime. And as the king of metal / J metal reactor, because it's what I do. And now let's begin. And more importantly, time to react.
The Scarlet Witch, Marvel's Crimson Queen of Chaos.
Zatanna, DC's magnificent mistress of magic.
There are those who wield the mystic arts like gods to reshape creation to their whims.
And there are those who just like to put on a hell of a show. Either way,
True.
Don't mess with them if you know what's good for you. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
They're going with the sprites.
Though we may drift day by day in a world seemingly concrete and eternal, the fabric of reality is in fact more delicate than we might dare to wonder. Imagine every single iota of it, every star, galaxy, universe, all within the grasp of a single mortal woman, to control at her whim. Imagine the danger we're all in if you piss her off.
We don't have to, because her name is Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. As a kid, she and her brother Pietro were poor Romani, who were lucky enough to be turned into super-powered freaks by the High Evolutionary.
Unable to control her apparently new magical abilities, it wasn't long before Wanda lost control and was branded a witch.
Until who would show up but the mutant master of magnetism himself, Magneto. Definitely giving off some big dad energy there.
So, to return Magneto's kindness, she and Pietro joined his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Great name there, Magneto. Solid branding.
And it wasn't long before she traded her supervillain creds for a membership with the Avengers, which might have been a bit too much for poor Wanda because she definitely drew the superpower short stick.
By waving her hands, Wanda could create small random events known as hexes, subtly altering the probability of any event happening.
That's a cool way of saying she could do like one magic-y thing per fight and then be totally useless. An energy blast here, some telekinesis there, a force field if she's feeling frisky. Not exactly the same oomph as, say, the God of Thunder or the Jolly Green Worldbreaker.
But something strange was happening. Over time, her hexes increased in breadth and power, as if there was more to Wanda's powers than met the eye. She learned to slow and stop time, drain and absorb energy, duplicate herself and others, teleport to different dimensions, and even strip others of their powers entirely.
It was almost as if there was more to Wanda than just being some random science experiment. Let's ask our resident expert on the deepest trenches of character history. Jocelyn, if you will.
In reality, Wanda's powers weren't entirely the result of the High Evolutionary, nor was she the mutant daughter of Magneto, as he's claimed. Her powers weren't just some simple hexes. She might as well have been a god. Until now, she had merely been dipping her toes into the vast ocean known as chaos magic. Though her powers may have seemed to be the byproduct of science, they were in reality the gift of the Lovecraftian elder god Cthon, who attempted to turn Wanda into his future vessel.
Reminds me of my summers by the sea with old Uncle Yogg-Sothoth.
In time, Wanda discovered she could alter the probability of anything she could think of, turning a mathematical impossibility into an absolute certainty, and vice versa. Wanda's powers kept growing and growing, turning her into a being strong enough to rival even the mightiest of gods. Like, literally, Wanda's chaos magic is counterpart to the Phoenix Force, the embodiment of cosmic order. You know, that fiery space chicken that can destroy the universe? Wanda fought it, and even briefly erased it from existence.
That did
happen. At her
happen.
height, the Scarlet Witch achieved total control over energy, the weather, the elements, your mind, your body, your soul, all of time, all of matter, and all of reality. She can wipe you from existence with a thought and rend the very fabric of the universe as though it were tissue paper.
She isn't even limited to chaos magic either. They might not have been what made her a god, but the High Evolutionary's experiments did make her more receptive to channeling magical energy. Oh, maybe that's why Mama Boomstick always warned me about redheads.
She's so receptive, in fact, that Wanda is the lone nexus being of the 616 reality, a focal point for the universe's magical energies, and one that belongs equally to all other timelines.
It's no wonder she was considered a candidate for Sorcerer Supreme. I mean, shit, why wasn't she? She might as well be a walking, talking Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, she may have the power of a god, but she's still stuck with a human's body that can be overpowered by physically stronger foes. Though, she also survived being shot with a black matter bullet capable of, and I quote, world-shattering energy. So there's that.
Whoa.
She does technically need to be able to think of a spell in order to get it to happen.
Know.
So she
and
could
maybe this
theoretically
is one comic
be blitzed,
issue I did
but
not
she's
read.
also blocked Thor's galaxy-crossing hammer, kept up with dudes like X-Man who can fight within plank time, and even amp her own speed beyond the concept of speed herself.
Despite being far and away the mightiest among Earth's mightiest heroes, Wanda resented the pressure of her incredible power. She actually wanted a quiet life as a wife and a mother.
But because no one in comics is allowed to have a happily ever after, that life was taken from her by literal Satan.
Yeah,
Not the
Mephisto.
last time he'd do this, too.
Oh,
Snap
oh, I
and
saw
she
that
cut
one
the
more day.
multiverse
Oh,
with
that's messed
By
up.
tapping into an inconceivable and unknowable pool of energy known as the Life Force, Wanda rewrote all of reality, creating a new universe where life was just how
Yeah, this is what I told you about. The
No
House
matter
of M.
whose lives she had to change. In this House of M, she had her family back, but at the cost of her sanity.
And it wasn't long before it all came crashing down around her. Once her family and friends discovered the lie of their new lives and turned against her, she uttered 3 fateful words and erased nearly all of mutant kind. No more mutants.
Wanda weaved her magic throughout all of existence, created cracks across reality which spread throughout the Omniverse, and threatened to annihilate all
And it
of
almost
creation, the entirety of Marvel's infinite cosmology.
And it also almost gave about
Shit got dark,
almost about
and while
90%
Wanda has
of
worked to keep
mutants
her
losing
powers
their
in check
abilities.
Since then, that
And
threat
that
is always
it was
there.
still
But
climbing
honestly,
down.
that sounds more like a problem for anyone who's stupid enough to get in her way.
Both a blessing and a curse, a help and a hex. Such is the true power of the Scarlet Witch. Come one, come all, to see the magnificent Zatanna Zatara. For never was there a greater
my thoughts
professor
about
of
her
digital
in the Batman
performance.
the animated series.
AKA magic! Except Zatanna
Wow.
spells aren't just
She's
smoke and mirrors, they're the real
very
deal. So
something
you're really
else.
getting your money's worth.
She learned everything she knew from her father,
Zatanna
Giovanni Zatara,
Zatara.
who put his powers to good use
Yeah,
as one of
that's
DC's
a
very
mouthful
first superheroes.
just to say
No
her name.
joke, he's the guy who taught Batman everything he knows about escape artistry. He debuted
That, I
the
remember
same
that
issue
episode.
as Superman, and the young Zatanna was more than happy to serve as his assistant, learning everything he knew about the cutthroat world of entertainment. Oh, and Cape shit too, but the former is way worse.
She inherited her father's incredible mystical abilities as well. Essentially, anything Zatanna thinks of, she can make real. And she focuses this absurdly powerful ability by speaking her desired effect backwards. Her father based this technique on the diaries of Leonardo da Vinci, who some theorize wrote backwards in order to hide his ideas from the repressive medieval Catholic Church.
Or because he
Monty
was
Python.
left-handed.
No one expects
another
the Spanish
theory.
Inquisition.
You hate fun.
And Zatanna's apparently big-brained enough that she has no problem speaking backwards at the drop of a hat. Like when this one dude kept reversing time in the middle of her sentences, she started speaking in palindromes so that she'd still be speaking backwards no matter what. I mean, You know what they say, Wiz? Go hang a salami. I'm a lasagna hug.
With her magic, Zatanna has bent the laws of reality to her whims. She's transmuted matter on an atomic level,
like, how
teleported
the
across
hell did she do
dimensions,
that?
commanded the elements, turned invisible, removed powers, cast illusions, read and controlled minds, traveled through and stopped time, and can even wipe people from existence with a single word.
It might not seem obvious from that hokey magic castle
Same
getup,
as
but
Wanda,
Zatanna
but
is one of
she
the
did
most
it with
powerful
words.
sorcerers in DC. Like the time she battled the Time Tailor Zor, an old enemy of the Spectre. You know, the Angel of God's divine wrath.
In order to defeat an opponent of such unimaginable power,
I really don't
Zatanna
want it
focused
to
her magical might into
jinx this.
shattering the boundaries of reality. She reached out beyond the very comic panels themselves and pulled Zor's entire magical universe down around him. She literally handled all of reality like it was a sheet of paper and crumpled it in her hands.
That might seem completely incomprehensibly impossible to us, but it's all a matter of belief. Literally. As long as Zatanna believes she can do something with her magic, she'll do it.
As she puts it, her magic is essentially asserting one reality, then replacing it with another. This is similar to other magical characters like Dr. Fate and Green Lantern, whose powers have been stated to work the exact same way.
But it's not like any rando can do magic by wishing on a star. Zatanna is genetically predisposed to this kind of magical reality warping. Her mom was in actuality a Homo Magi, a subrace of humans that are naturally adept at magic.
So it's no wonder that Zatanna became an invaluable member of both the Justice League of America and Justice League Dark. The Shadow the Hedgehog version, basically.
Zatanna harnessed an entire year's worth of sunlight into a single energy blast, created ruptures across all of space and time throughout the DC multiverse, and has even claimed she's as powerful as Superman himself. Pre-Crisis Superman, in case you were wondering. Her only limit is her imagination and will. In fact, her backward speaking is mostly a stagecraft tradition meant to boost her concentration.
In a pinch, she can cast a spell with a single thud, and I doubt anyone's winning a quick draw with her. She's matched superheroes like Martian Manhunter, who scanned every mind on Earth in a blank instant. Or how about Dr. Fate, whose magic traveled across the universe at the completely immeasurable velocity of God.
Zatanna has fended off countless reality-shattering threats like the Eldritch Upside-Down Man, Primordial Darkness, that is evil incarnate, and the Void Beyond Creation, Pralaya.
This shadow goop lady ate all of DC Comics, all of creation, everything. Gods, demons, rabbits, and spandex, everything. And Zatanna's magic was strong enough to hold her back.
And then, after secretly implanting Swamp Thing inside Pralaya, she weaved a spell within him to literally regrow all of reality back in seconds.
Zatanna tricked a being older than God and then blew her ass up from the inside with a whole new omniverse. Abracadabracadabra.
Such is the almighty power of Zatanna's will. Should it falter, though, or should her focus be disrupted, it could all come crashing down like a house of cards. Belief is a fragile thing, after all, and her powers were weakened for a time after she lost belief in herself.
And she's definitely got one big weak point. She's a huge daddy's girl.
Despite her amazing career, she has struggled within herself to live up to her father's legacy, especially after his heroic death.
And this MFer has died a lot of times, so Z's therapy can't be cheap, especially after dating John Constantine.
Oh boy.
Oh, I can just smell the lager and self-loathing from here. No, oh wait, that's me.
Questionable romance aside, Zatanna is a consummate professional raised on one singular principle. The show must go on, and she'll always finish strong with a standing ovation.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
so it is going to be sprites,
trick.
but the background looks pretty nice. Okay. Upward.
What sort of 2-bit sorceress do you think you are? 2-bit?
Fighting words. You know what? I'd rather stop talking and just watch this.
All part of the show, folks.
Really?
I'd say this calls for an Avenger.
Yeah. Hulk versus Superman. Yes. I know it's a big deal.
Do you know the difference between you and I? Power!
Oh, damn.
Well, I think the difference is... presentation!
Mamma mia.
And I know a trick when I see one.
See, this right here. Breaking all the shadows, all that is reality, even if it is a fourth wall.
Universes.
You can't run forever. Now make like a magician and disappear!
I hope they know what they're doing, because every universe that they're throwing is just... I always try to imagine what Wanda is going to be like. It just go all that rage. See, yeah, this is why that all that shit happened at the House of M, and Phoenix
A
gone.
disappearing act was the first thing Dad ever taught me. And for my final trick, smash it once. No more witches. And that's our show, ladies and germs.
Damn.
KO! Now that's a magic trick that's to die for.
Analyzing this matchup was
Yeah.
like walking on a tightrope. It could fall either way at any point.
Because at the end of the day, both these ladies could do basically anything with their magic. All they had to do was think and shit would happen. They were totally even. At her peak, Wanda was able to threaten the stability of all creation.
And at Zatanna's best, she was able to hold back Pralaya, who could do the exact same thing. And despite some differences, the omniversal cosmologies of Marvel and DC Comics are roughly equivalent in size and scope. All that was left for us to look at was their weaknesses.
While both were as powerful as one another, Wanda needed to tap into the life force to reach that pinnacle, and doing so threatened her sanity.
Let's take a closer look at the events surrounding House of M, where Wanda's powers were at their maximum.
Despite admitting that she was way stronger, Doctor Strange managed to get the best of Wanda with a cool head and a spell that briefly knocked her out cold.
Yeah, I remember
His
that.
wits
I remember
against her
that
mental
page.
instability were enough
That's
to
what
turn the
instantly
tide.
stopped.
To be clear, this instability definitely wouldn't affect her power. She was still strong enough to create a completely new alternate reality and then erase it just as easily. What it would do is leave her open.
Also, take her No More Mutant spell. As insanely powerful as it was to affect the whole of Marvel's creation, it wasn't entirely successful. There was still a tiny portion of Earth's mutant population left unaffected, likely due to interference from Strange and Emma Frost.
Against Zatanna, who was just as strong and not losing her mind, she wouldn't be able to afford that kind of lapse, even for an instant.
On the other hand, Zatanna has managed to maintain her willpower fighting foes just as strong as the Scarlet Witch, so she didn't have the same kind of exploitable weakness.
And remember, she doesn't actually need to say her spells backwards.
It helps with her concentration, but all her spells come from her mental impulses, just like Wanda. She's consistently pulled off non-verbal spells in the past, even against beings as strong as Pralaya.
In the end, Z definitely had enough experience fighting smart and keeping on her toes to hang with Wanda long enough to get in a finishing blow.
While there were definitely versions of this battle that could have ended with Wanda victorious, Zatanna's cooler head and effortless magic allowed her to prevail.
I guess you could say Wanda never saw it coming, and Zatanna Maxim offed her.
The winner is Zatanna.
I will say that it is a fair fight. Both Wanda and Zatanna put up a good fight, and they were both even when it comes to magic. But in the end, Zatanna is the only one that has been held back, and the fact that it's still crazy that she can just bend all the realities, especially that one comic page that she can literally reach her hand as if that reality was just bound to shattered, and it was nuts. And the fact that she could perform magic by saying the words backwards and has that mental where she is that relaxed and calm. Wanda, on the other hand, that she's got so many problems and that it just comes all emotions. I mean, look how that she created House of M, and where she had that control, but once every members of the Avengers and X-Men learned the truth that all this is nothing but all created, and just once again having that sense of feeling of the loss, and decimation of M comes in, and not to mention that she and Hope together say those big words, "No more Phoenix." I swear, it's just the big words, especially "no more." That could be a scary thought about that. But everything else was like a literal magic show, and poor Wanda was split in half. This time, no magic involved. This was a real deal, and all I gotta say is, damn. I do like red color though, but I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys are as well. And more importantly, what did you think of this fight? You believe that this could have been a different version, how that Wanda could have been defeated, or you would have expected that she would come out of the open and actually defeated Zatanna. So I would like to hear what your thoughts about this, and if you do enjoy, let's leave it a likes and also leave the comments down below, and I will catch y'all in the next video. So take care, guys, and be safe.